Hello. This session is all about comparisons, leading on from where we have looked at comparisons before, and our use of social media and other things that can cause anxiety and stress. So, do you use social media? If you do, how much do you know? Do you wake up in the morning and it's the first thing you look at? Do you look at it last thing at night? Or is it occasional? And things like materialism, are they important to you? How often do you find yourself buying things? Impulsively or not? Whether clothes or homeware or whatever. So we're going to look a little bit more at those, how to manage them and how they can be detrimental. So society, the media, social media can all be places where we get to see what we haven't got and what we actually might like that we haven't got, or what other people have that we haven't, and that's where the comparisons come in. So materialistic behaviours, keeping up with the neighbours, wanting to have the best of things, wanting to have the best beauty products. It's not about what it is that you're being materialistic about. If you are, it's about the level of materialism in your life and where those pressures might be coming from. If this doesn't apply to you, then great. But if it does, let's think about a statement. Buying things in person or on the internet and searching on social media sites are some of the least likely things to be stored in our memories unless they are really important. So let's do a little test to understand why that is. I've called the test a memory test to highlight mindfulness. So, all I'd like you to do is take 10 or 20 minutes out right now, pause the video and think about as many memories as you can. See what just crops up. Not trying too hard, just what comes to mind first of all. It doesn't matter if they're recent memories or they're from a long time ago. Note them down and then come back to the video once you've done that. Hopefully you have some memories based around some experiences that you've had, good or bad. They may be with other people, they may be when you were alone, and they may also include objects, material objects, such as when you bought your first car or your first home, or a precious object that means something to you, a reminder of someone, for example. With memories, we need to have been using our senses in one way or another for the memory to stick in our minds. It doesn't necessarily mean that every time we're using our senses the memory sticks, because some memories disappear. But to actually have a memory, we need to have been mindful and in the moment or have an emotion attached to it for it to become a memory and for it to stick in our brain. So we have, if we're lucky enough, we have 5 senses we have hearing, sight, smell, taste and touch. So when you think about one of those memories that you've brought up, and please do so now, think about a few things. Was it a wonderful meal that smelt, looked and tasted great? That would be at least 3 of your senses you would be using in the moment at that point. Was it the look on someone's face when you surprised them and what they said at that time? That would be a real visual and sound that you'd be tapping into there. Was it happy, sad, exciting? What emotion was attached to the memory? We need to be using our senses really to make memories, or at least have an emotion. We are not going to generally be making memories if we haven't been using our senses and we've been either in a daydream or on autopilot. Autopilot is a place where our brain will shut off as much as possible because it's full up of stuff, and we will go onto autopilot and be able to continue the tasks that we're doing only because we've done them so many times before. We can almost do them with our eyes shut. So, for example, we could be eating a sandwich and we could be on the last mouthful and we kind of recognise, oh, I've nearly eaten it all. Didn't even notice. And that's because we were on autopilot at the time. Either that or we were deep in thought elsewhere by choice. So when we're on autopilot or daydreaming, we are not really making memories. This will be highlighted when someone asks us, oh, what did you do yesterday? What did you do last Thursday? And we're like, oh, I don't know, I can't remember. We probably can't remember because we weren't really present at that time. Now, if we were to be present and in the moment all of the time, I think we'd be exhausted because we'd need so much mental energy to do so. And our brain needs to process, therefore we can't be on, top form all of the time. So we can't expect to be away from autopilot all of the time, and it's a natural process that we go through. So without using our senses, we can't really create emotions, and without emotions and senses, we can't really create memories. So our memories are stored away and we can access them either purposefully by bringing up memories, or the memories being triggered either by something that we hear, see, taste, smell or feel. So we could taste a certain thing and we think, oh, that reminds me of so and so, or that reminds me when we went for dinner on our anniversary, whatever. When a memory is triggered, we will also have an emotion attached to it, which could be happy, sad, scared, all sorts. So memories are there, good and bad, and can be triggered either on purpose or by a sense or emotion being re-triggered, or a scenario playing out in a similar way that makes us remember when this had happened similarly before. Here are a few messages to help remind you to be as mindful as you can. Try to experience life properly as much as possible. Be in the moment. Try to make memories that count. It's not all about the here and now. If we have good memories to look back on, that makes us happy too. We cannot do it all the time, but we can make efforts to try harder to be mindful and use our senses. Sit or walk and really smell, see and hear. And when eating, really taste and smell your food and look at it as it is presented. You'll enjoy it more. When with others, try to really be with them, not distracted by other things like mobile phones or social media. And if you have spare cash, instead of buying an object, could you use it to go out and experience something, even something new? That will create a memory, whereas the object may not. When we're on our deathbed, and we're not there yet, but we can imagine that, will we be looking back at all those material objects we bought and thinking happily about those? Or will we be thinking about the things that we did, the experiences that we had? Now, self-image, when we're talking about comparisons to others, can be rife if we're using social media a lot. It isn't necessarily the case, but it can be. We need to like ourselves in mind, body and spirit. Do you compare yourself to anybody else, particularly anyone in the media or on the internet? On social media, not all, but many people are showing the good side of their lives. My life is wonderful, look at me, I'm so happy. I've seen people out many times where they're taking a selfie and they're on their phones, not really enjoying a meal, and then they'll take a selfie. Hey, yeah, I'm out for dinner. So it looks great, but I'm seeing the other side of it. They're not having a wonderful time. They're not even talking to the person they're with because they're too busy publishing things on their internet sites or social medias or whatever it is that they're doing. I won't assume, but I know what I can see, and I'm sure we've all seen it. Now, I'm not saying that that is wrong. However, when we are the ones being damaged by viewing accounts like that and looking at ourselves and thinking, my thighs are not smooth enough, I'm not slim enough, they're slimmer than me, they're prettier than me, there comes the damage. Now, sometimes the damage is so much, people can become body dysmorphic or just have really low self-esteem about their looks and who they are. If this is the case, then therapy and talking about it is the way to go. But I'm looking at the generalisation of comparing in social media at this moment and how we can avoid it, so that we can avoid putting ourselves into a stressful and comparative mood. You need to do whatever you want to do, dress how you want to do, Be individual. Are you individual? Do you ever not do something or wear something because, oh, it won't look right on me? Or what might they think? Or I don't look as good as that person. The message here about comparisons is that we just need to be ourselves, our authentic selves as much as possible. If, however, you do find that you are influenced by people on social media, by looking at social media, and you do find yourself changing your appearance or how you are in order to be like someone else, just ask yourself a few questions. Who is it you're trying to be like? Do you really think they're happy and content anyway? Who are you trying to impress? And are you using filters because you are just not happy with how you naturally look? What is that actually all about? Just a note here on the word normal. I use inverted commas with that word because it's one of those words that comes up a lot and so often in a negative way. So what does normal mean? Normal usually is based around a statistic, and it's based around, in regard with comparisons, what the majority is doing or looking like. So if 9 out of 10 people wore black and 1 wore pink, we would say the norm is to wear black. If, however, 8 people wore pink and 2 wore black, we would say the norm is to wear pink. If we were in a room of 8 criminals and there are 2 non-criminals, we would say the norm in that room was crime. If it were the other way round, we would say the norm in the room was non-crime. So you get the gist? It's about who we surround ourselves with, who we look at and are influenced by on social media, and then our comparisons of do we fit with that. But we need to think about, do we need to fit with other people? What is it about them that we're trying to fit into? These are a few things I hear quite regularly when people are comparing to others. I'm the odd one out. I don't have many friends like everyone else I know. I'm not like everyone else. I'm misunderstood. And of course, I'm not normal. And this goes as well, this same message goes for how we think. So if we are not thinking the same thing as others when we're discussing it, again, we don't have to statistically agree just because 4 people think one way and we think a different way. It doesn't mean that we're wrong. It doesn't mean that we're right, but that is not the point here. In the comparisons, in a negative way, we could feel that we are wrong, but maybe we're not. Maybe we just think a different way. And to finish this session, I'd like to just say, be unique. What about that? If we think about inventors think of things and produce things that no one else has. They couldn't afford to compare. If they did, they'd probably not go forth and invent this new thing, this new way of thinking or being or working something out, or this new object that works differently to others or looks differently to others. Inventors cannot afford to compare too much. Do you want to think for yourself, or do you want to copy someone else? So that's it for this session. I hope you found it helpful. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.